All right, so we're going to be putting that Tesla motor in this 914, and it's not going to have the transmission anymore. And based on my measurements and things, it's going to come back to about here, right here in line where this front of the motor is. And it's going to be about 25 inches wide. It might sit to one side of the chassis more than it sits to the other side. And so it'll be back to about there, which will give me a lot of room. Once I take this motor out, I'll be able to go down a lot more with batteries, and I'll have this much room. So, I'll have in here, quite a bit of room, 16 inches or so of room, 15 or 14 inches of room, which is enough. I only need like 12 inches to stand these batteries that I got. I think this is about 12 inches here. Yep, about 12, 13 inches for good measure. I'll be able to stand these batteries up on end and lay about 4, maybe 5 from here to there on end behind the motor. And then that gives me only one more that I got to fit back here somewhere, which I can use based on the weight distribution of the motor. I can use to put a little more weight on one side or the other of the car. And then the other 2 batteries go right up here. I've already had them in place. They just sit right there where the gas tank was. I have the full front trunk available on this conversion still, and I will have the full back trunk available on this conversion. Everything will fit where the engine bay was and where the original gas tank was on this car, which is really cool, and really should bringing the battery weight down on this car a lot. When it was originally converted, this battery weight was up pretty high. And so, of course, that would make it a little more top heavy, throw the weight distribution off on this car, and sticking the weight down lower will really add the center of gravity, bring the center of gravity on this car lower and make it a lot better. So it'll be kind of cool. I'm interested to see once we get this motor in. Of course, we will have like motor mount brackets, which might trim down how many I can fit in line this way. It might trim it down to like 4 batteries instead of squeezing in 5. Hopefully it doesn't trim it down to 3. I can't imagine that. But 4 batteries this way, and then I would have 2 that need to go on top above the motor and the other batteries somewhere. And so, which there will be plenty of room for. Of course, this unit is going to need a oil cooler. This motor is going to need an oil cooler to circulate oil, and have a radiator somewhere. Haven't quite figured out where I want to put that radiator yet, but I would like it to be relatively discreet. I will have a lot of room. Of course, the original transmission goes back here and mounts to the mounting points back here. Whoop, right there. And so I'll have the motor mount for the Tesla motor that comes back to these probably and goes up to the front ones that are up there that holds the motor in place. And so I'll have all this room back here. I'll probably stick a little radiator up there between the motor mounts somewhere that gives me some cooling functionality, although it will add a little bit of drag to the wind resistance, but got to do what you got to do.